Okay, there are students over there who are not listening. All conversations need to go this way. There is no, because we want to have fun. Okay, we want to share in the fun. This is what I do. I am a teacher. And that is why I will not sell anything. I will just share some information with you. We have a conscious mind, which is just 10 to 12% of who we are. But we also have a subconscious mind, which is 88 to 90% of who we are. When I was very young, I heard that the geniuses use only 10% of their mind. And the rest of us use less than that. And I was like, how do I get into I didn't want to go 10%. I wanted to go beyond 10%. And this is when I was 4 or 5 years old. And I was always like asking questions and wanting to know more about it. And finally, I went to school, and I'm from India, originally from India. I have a degree in physics. I have a master's in computer science. I have been a physics groupie for all my life. And I used to be a software engineer for 16 years. And then life happened, and I moved from Texas to California. And yes, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful. My daughter goes to UC Davis. My boys are 15 and 12, and they're all great students. So, and I keep saying I have 5 more years. My youngest one will go to college in 5 years, and then I'll be like free. So, yes, it's true. It's true. Your children can be your best friends if you teach them well from when they are within you. So that's my belief system. I come from India, so I believe in life after life. And so I'm like, if I don't do it now, I'll do it later on. And if I don't know why it's happening, I'm like, okay, maybe I'm catching up from before. But that's my belief system. And we all have a belief system. Each of us have a belief system. I met our beautiful friend over here who said Black and 13 are very lucky for her. And they really are lucky for her, because that is her belief system. Okay? There is no right, there is no wrong. It is what it is. How many of you sometimes struggle? Sometimes.
With what?
With anything.
Life.
Okay? And the ones who raised your hands, thank you, and the rest of you, I still love you. So those who struggle, how many of you, those who raised their hands and said they struggle, how many of you would instead like to snuggle? Snuggle? Yes. And you can do that. You can do that when you tap into your subconscious. There are various ways of doing it. One is through trance. One is through meditation. And there is hypnosis. There's also hallucinating drugs. Either way, you access your subconscious. And the best way to get anything done is when you have mastered your subconscious. How many of you here are in network marketing companies? And there we have a lot. I used to be an Herbalife distributor. And I loved it for one reason, is because first thing that I noticed, which was 12 years ago, is men had no problem hugging men, Because I come from a corporate world where men did just this much. Because I come from India where Asian men, they don't have problems, resting their hand on the shoulder. It's a brotherly thing. You would, hold hands and walk. Just men would gather together and have conversations. But here, when you come and 2 men, 2 engineers, they said, no, don't touch me, And the other guy came like a week before and said, if you do that, they will think you're gay, and that's not right. So I was in Philadelphia, I was in Phoenix, I lived in Raleigh, North Carolina, Chicago, everywhere. And so when I came into network marketing, I saw men were okay being men. They were comfortable in their manhood. So that is what I loved about network marketing. The other thing that I found great in network marketing was, to me, it was like the gateway to spirituality. People finally started talking about personal growth. I read Dale Carnegie books. I was a very shy child. I would never be able to do what she did today. Our little Haley, what she did over here. I was I was too busy with myself. The reason I went into computers was because I said, if you do something wrong, the computer won't turn around and slap you. When I worked with it won't slap you, because people can do that. They can hurt your feelings. You can feel rejected and abandoned, but computer, you can't do that. But when I came into network marketing, but when I was 18, I read Dale Carnegie books. And there are 3 books, most of you might know about it. One of the books is How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. And the second principle over there is think of the worst thing that could happen. Think of the worst thing that could happen in your head. And once you have lived through it, you're fine. When it really happens, you're prepared. It's the first time when things happen that we are scared of. You know, teenagers, they want to have a girlfriend, they want to have a boyfriend. But when they are to go out on the first date, they are so scared because it's the first time. The first time is always the scary time. But once you have run it in your head, you're okay. The next time when it happens, you're like, okay, been there, done that, right? How many of us have heard that? Been there, done that. How many of you have watched the movie Titanic? Okay, I will not tell you the ending, but here's what it is. There's an iceberg, right? There's an iceberg in the story. In English, we say the tip of the iceberg. Have you heard tip of the iceberg? It should actually be called top of the iceberg. Because what you see on top is actually the top. That is 10% of the iceberg. What actually got Titanic down? First of all, the ego, man's ego. Okay, it's the strongest, it will never go down. That was it. That was the spiritual aspect. But literally, what got it down was, where did the Titanic get cut?
Under the water.
Under the water, because that's 88 to 90% of what the iceberg really is. That is what it is. So whatever is running your script, really, it's your subconscious mind. Every judgment, every opinion, every behavior, every habit comes from your subconscious. You know, there was a time when people could say, I don't know. Now you don't have an excuse. You can just hire a teenager, go to Google, right? All the information is over there. You can get it in your conscious mind, right? But still, will you be able to do it? Unless it is aligned with your subconscious? No. How many of you have taken those networking workshops and social media workshops and all those great things? How many of you are doing everything that you learned? No. Thank you. Congratulations, Ben. I love him. I seriously do. Because it is working with your subconscious. I can also tell one more thing. He's a somnambulist. Somnambulist people are also called sleepwalkers, but they are people who take in information both ways, literally and inferentially. They are the people who succeed. They are 5% of our population. We all know that 5% of our population succeed. The rest of us only aim for it. And then we come up with theories like, there is no perfection. There is only excellence. But you are what you don't know what you are. In the end, how many of you want to be really known by your core? Really who you are? And how do you get to that place? By accessing your subconscious. So does anyone have questions for me? I have my 2-minute signal here.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Why I want to know my core?
I'm sorry?
Why I want to know it?
Why do you want
You
to?
say, how many of you know your core? Right?
Uh-huh.
Why I want to know? Is
Because that is your essence. That is really who you are. If your name wasn't Ben, who would you really be?
Asher.
And if your name wasn't Asher, who would you be? Very good. If your name wasn't Asher, who would you be?
I have no idea.
You would still be you.
Oh, yeah.
You would still be you. It's just the name by which someone calls you. Are you really Ben? Or are you David? You could be anybody. It's your name.
You could be Gandhi.
Yes? You are not your name. You are not your gender. You are not your sexual orientation. You are not your nationality. You are not your ethnicity. In the end, the only thing that separates you from me is our skin. It is our skin. Because the air you breathe is the same air I breathe. At the cellular level, we are one. Yes? Any other question? Thank you. Any other question? Or is everyone under hypnosis, under a trance? Yes, ma'am.
And have you ever read Psycho-Cybernetics?
Yes.
Okay, is that where you got a lot of the subconscious information? Because that's where I learned a lot about the subconscious.
I went to the School of Hypnotherapy in Tarzana, which is the one and only nationally accredited institute. It has been there since 1968. So I did a 1-year diploma in clinical hypnotherapy. When I came to California, I didn't have family, I didn't have friends, I didn't have a job, I didn't have a business. I didn't have even 2 cents to my name. And I came across, and I sent my 3 kids to school, and I came across a flyer that said, you can be a hypnotist for free. I said, this is America, nothing is free. I called them to ask, what's the catch? And I went to that school, and I didn't even get a grant because I already had a master's degree, so I had to pay it. And don't ask me how I did it, but I did it because I believed I could do it. I wanted something that would help me, help others. That's what I'm really passionate about. So thank you, everyone.